Yep.
You like a screaming vocal in your face?
Hey, 1, 2. Check testing 1, 2. Hey, hey, 1, 2. Check testing 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Check. 1. Check. Testing 1, 2.
Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2.
Okay, now you can give it the business, sir.
2. Check 1, 2.
2. Check. 1, 2.
In just a few minutes, the guy you're here for, y'all get ready for Eric Gales.
Look at us, man.
Bro, look at us. Who'd have thunk it?
I know.
Right.
You know, I remember I was about 18 years old. I lived at home in Fort Worth, Texas. My big brother, Jay, he's always been my biggest influence of music. He introduced me to everything, really, that I love. I had just gotten a little black Squire Strat and a little PV classic amp trying to play.
Starter kit.
You got it. And he brought this record home. And it was the Eric Gales band.
No way.
Picture of 1,000 faces.
No way. Wow. Many years ago, man, but hey.
Man, it just one of the things that I knew immediately listening to that there was something that was being done that I'd never heard before.
Oh.
So I don't do intros a lot for people, but I want to read this for the friends of ours from Billy Bob's that may be just now learning who you are.
Okay.
So widely hailed as one of the most soulful, technically gifted guitarists of his generation. A child prodigy who released his first album at 16 on Elektra Records.
Who was that?
Gales was dubbed second coming of Hendrix early on, but his story runs so much deeper. After battling addiction and spending time away from the spotlight, he made a powerful comeback with critically acclaimed albums like Middle of the Road and Crown. The latter was produced by Joe Bonamassa, earning him his very first Grammy nomination.
Man.
A unique left-handed upside-down playing style and raw emotional voice on the fretboard, Eric Gales just doesn't play the blues. He lives them, he heals through them, and he redefines them. And he redefines them with every note.
Wow.
Thank you for being here, man.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. I like that. I like that. That was pretty nice to hear, man. I appreciate that.
Well, you know, I was having a conversation about you earlier, and I think the fact that you do something that is just irreplicatable, it's astounding, because anybody can pick up a Strat and a tube amp, but they can't do what you do.
Well,
We'll do this. Take me back to 16 years old, right?
Yeah.
Fender sends you a little white Squire. You remember that white Squire?
Yeah. It was it was a new model at the time. It was called the HM Series Strat. It was kind of their rocker rendition. It was called the HM Series,
right.
And you know, it had single coils and a humbucker, which was kind of one of the first models of that style that they were doing, and they decided they wanted me to try it out, and I did. I did, and played it, and yeah, it was pretty cool, man. I mean, to get a notification or a phone call from Fender, and they relayed to me that we got this new model guitar, and we want you to be the one that gives the signal of the signature of approval on it, and yeah, it was huge for me, man. 16 years old. You got several other people way ahead of me that, were huge inspirations and influences on me that could have been, picked or gotten the phone call, and little old me. And hey, man, I never will forget it, man. I was still a kid. I was excited. I mean, I didn't know nobody else that I was friends with that was getting phone calls like that.
Yeah.
And, so.
At that time, did you know that your life was going to go this direction?
No.
Where did you think you'd be?
No.
What did Eric Gales, at 16 years old, young guitar player, gifted obviously, where did you think you were going to go in life?
My intentions were to be on the road truck driver like my dad.
Really?
Yeah. This kind of just came. This career just kind of fell into my lap, man. I had no idea. No idea. I mean, I knew I liked music and, playing and noodling around with it, but no idea that I foresee anything that were to come about in my life when it came. It being something that took me out of not having to do completely nothing else but music for the rest of my life. Never did I, at that time in my life, I mean, it wasn't at the forefront of my life what was my plans on doing, what was I gonna do for the rest of my life. I mean, I'm 16, I'm basically living in the moment, what I mean?
Sure.
I'm living in the present. The future was far away from my thoughts. I was being a 16, 15, 14-year-old kid, and had no idea that this was something that was already kind of paved out for me.
No, I said earlier, my brother really influenced me in my musical interest. I know that your brothers probably did the same for you.
Oh yeah, man. Being the youngest of 5 and growing up in a musical household definitely had its huge advantages for me. One being, the opportunity to soak up like a huge sponge, many different styles and influences and personalities of, music styles. My brother Eugene, was definitely a connoisseur of, a whole lot of different styles. I mean, all my brothers were, but specifically my brother Eugene was kind of well-rounded and, not only rock, but country, funk, jazz, gospel, you know, everything and in between. And my brother, little Jimmy, you know, he kind of took more to, you know, straight up, you know, butt naked blues, you know, Albert King, Freddie King, B.B. King sort of blues. I mean, predominantly, you know, Albert was like his hugest influence. So, you know, that along with, you know, my mom and dad, you know, gospel was a huge asset in the house. You know, a lot of people, unless I tell my story, don't know that, you know, my mom had me at church with her, I mean, almost every other day. And I also played in the church behind my uncle, who was also a left-handed upside down guitar player, you know, and had he chose to get notarized in the worldly sense, I think he would have been as large as BB and Freddie and Albert. I mean, he was that badass dude, right? But he just chose to play in the church. So, you know, music came from many different, you know, aspects and parameters, you know, coming up as a kid, man. And it was, you know, and I don't regret it at all, man. It all aided in, you know, me being who I am as a player, as a person, human being, you know, a lot of things propel me to be the, you know, artist that I am. And me, growing up, I took a liking to all of those different styles that I probably wouldn't have been exposed to had I not had, if you will, an eclectic sort of surrounding, you know, due to the different things that, you know, my brothers, they chose to not just be into the things of the black culture, if you will. You know, now, mind you, those things are and still are very important to me as a black culture. You know, the Earth, Wind and Fires and your Graham Central Stations and your Larry Grahams and your you know, when I say I mean, you have Prince and you have Michael Jackson, but they were more, you know, a multi diverse cultured, you know, accepted, if you will, sort of artist, as opposed to Rick James. I mean, he was kind of too. I mean, you know, when you know, go to naming artists that were more so favored by the black culture, if you will. But having said that, having a well-roundedness of that, but along with other, you know, like I said, eclectic styles was, you know, I think was the perfect melting pot for me as an up-and-coming artist or musician that's at that point just a straight-up connoisseur of music, and liking what I heard. And then, you know, because my brothers were, my next to me brother is 10 years older than me, and my oldest brother is 17 years older than me. So that range in between had me listening to the stuff that they were listening to, but also I was growing up adapting to the stuff that I was accustomed to, such as, you know, hip hop and R&B and the stuff that I was listening to of my era. So all that got blended into this pot that made me, you know, generate this style that was a recipe of many different things all blended in. And that's what and why people hear and see such a buffet, if you will, during an Eric Gale show of many different styles displayed through a 90 plus minute show, from start to finish, of, you know, a menu that consists of a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but it all still kind of proportionately fits very well on the same plate at the end of the meal. That makes one say, damn, I heard a little bit of this, I just witnessed some of that, damn, that sounded like some of this, damn, that sounded like some of that, all within one show. And that all is accredited to, you know, everything that, you know, I'm touched by and everything that I'm moved by as an artist. I mean, I like everything, and it just comes out in one of my shows. I mean, I can't help it, because, you know, I follow where my spirit, my musical spirit takes me. And, you know, I've never found myself disappointed by following that lead.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned growing up playing music in the church. Do you feel like there's a unique experience, a unique skill set that comes from playing in the church that you can't get anywhere else?
Absolutely.
And what is that? Can you verbalize that?
I'm going to try my best. I'm going to try. There are, and for those that are aware of what I mean, when you come up in a church as a musician, man, there were like stiff penalties, and that's putting it very mildly. There were stiff repercussions to the fact of if you were caught not paying attention, and if you missed a cue, or if you weren't keeping timing and keeping up with the spirit being flowed, or you interrupted anything that had to do with the flow of the spirit of the Holy Ghost that was in the room, then the whole church knew it. Like, you were put on the spot. There was a huge spotlight put on you, and you were highly embarrassed, and so the missionaries and the deacons and the pastors and all of them had no problem with stopping the service and pointing you out and telling you, you know what, get up, move, don't worry about it, I'll play it myself, or I'll just do it solo. With those type of things, that's one particular aspect of it that created a sense of discipline. Another aspect of it was that also that kept you like on your P's and Q's, to where you have to immensely stay paying attention to whoever that's the band leader, or the reading the room of the band. There's no not paying attention, or else there were dire consequences behind it. For those type of characteristics that I grew up, being, accustomed to and learning to adapt to through coming up in the church, I think were very pivotal and very instrumental in, me and how, I tend to play and orchestrate things and call audibles in the middle of something that we might have rehearsed for months, but at the same time, I want to follow this way. So you got to be kidding. You got to be paying attention. If you don't, you're going to miss what I just told you to do. Or being able to know what a band leader is doing by a simple nod of the head, or, a shoulder shrug, and that's ready to go to the next. Like, those are the type of things that you can't buy. Like, and those are the type of things that I feel like I learned from growing up in the church. That is, you can't really be taught them. You just got to be in the room.
Yeah. You were talking about that plate having all different kinds of things on it.
Yes.
And one of those things that I love, and I'd mentioned earlier that my brother brought me your CD, and I listened to Paralyzed, and I was like, that sounds like, because I loved Living Color so much. I was like, man, that sounds like Vernon Reid. Now, that being said, I got a question for you that I think only you can answer. When I look at all of my favorite guitar players from recent generations, black players, yourself, Vernon Reid, Gary Clark Jr., and there's many more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But in those examples, why do you find, or why do you think that heavy rock, overdriven tones, and real just rock and roll, baseline rock and roll, is such an attraction for those players?
I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a good question, man. I mean, there are some of us, clearly it's something that not all of us take to, because if it was, there would be more of us.
Sure.
I believe. But I think there's a select few of us that get it. They get it. And I can only simply put it that way. I get it. I can find something in, a maggot brain. I can find something in a cult of personality. I can find something in, and that's listening to fellow, black artists. I can find something in a Jeff Beck. I can find something in a Frank Marino or Robin Trower. It's just, I don't know. It's because of that surrounding factor of me being a musician. And, as a musician, I don't understand how, as a musician, you don't like or be able to find something that's attractable in any style or any kind of music. Like, I think you're shutting yourself off if you don't. There's all sorts of creativity that can come from all different styles. So I never close the door. My door is wide open on any style of music that's out there, all kinds. So, for me to hear somebody say, no, I don't like that kind of music right there. I may not like it, but there are aspects and parts of it that I can find that I do like. Back to your question, what is it that I don't know, man? I don't know. Could it be, just gonna sound strange to say, could it be us as black people are tapping into the Caucasian side of us, if you will? And that's kind of minimizing it because now we're putting the style and likes of music into a color.
Yeah.
And that didn't feel right saying, but I mean, in a
100%.
joking way, you know,
Yeah.
are we tapping into the Caucasian side, you know, because it's just not just black and white people that like music. It's several other races out here that dig music too. So, I mean, you get what I'm trying to say.
I do.
You know, I think that we may be some of the few that truly get it and not subject ourselves to closing the door on something just because it's not socially accepted.
Sure.
You know, not socially accepted as a black person to be listening to rock, or for that fact to be listening to anything with a guitar that's got distortion on it.
Sure.
Or, you know, if it ain't clean and funky, you know, then I change the station.
Yeah.
You know, no, if you give it a chance, you might find something in there that you dig.
Well, and I think too, you know, I mean, I understand what you mean by tapping on the Caucasian side, but I also think that
That's
a
pretty
lot
funny
of
how I
that
put
it is,
that.
but it is one of those things where, like, for real, I think it
But that's
it's
crazy.
not because of
I don't
your
mean to
skin
cut. I don't mean to
color.
cut you off because you just said something that reminded me of what I said when I said tapping into the Caucasian side. When you actually look at it, that originally was the black side.
Yeah.
It originally was the black side. And see, that made me. Wow, I didn't mean it. It just made me think about that.
No, but I also think that as a black man, you experience it. You said it earlier, a completely different culture growing up.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what it smells like to have culture is like the smell of a hair straightener on a Sunday morning. I don't have that in my memory, right? And that separates us. So when it comes from culture standpoint, I think too that one of the great values that you bring to that genre as a black man is a culture that a white man could not bring. And I think honestly, that's why we hear the difference in sound. And because I can't do it.
I think you.
Because I don't have those experiences.
I think
know?
you hit the hammer on the head. Now there are some out there that's on the Caucasian side that come pretty fucking close, bro.
Oh, man, Bonamassa,
they come so close. I mean, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna go. I mean, it's some that come even closer than him.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. I mean,
Yeah.
Bonamassa is one of my best friends.
Yeah.
You know, and it's weird to even be having this conversation by generally trying to put a color on a music style. I mean, and it's not that way, and it shouldn't be that way. I mean, music so much further extends beyond what a color is.
Sure.
But having that be said, you know, there as a black person, there are things that can be translated that a black person has been through or has saw that they can play and express in music that is, you know, unless it's been lived or seen or went through, it's very difficult to duplicate that. Now, with that being said, as the years and time seem to go by, there are very surprising and mesmerizing styles that I see and hear that if I had not seen them, I would have thought that they were black.
Right.
And when the veil is unlifted, there's a white person there that's sitting there. And I'm like, are you kidding me? We can take it and put it in the fact of like, even in the body shapes. Like I remember when there was a distinct description of what was the shape of a white girl and the shape of a black girl. Like this just was like back in the days, there was no fat asses on white girls, bro.
Right.
It wasn't like if anything, they had big boobs and that was about it.
Right.
You know, it wasn't heavy on the bottom side. It was none of that. Like, you know, generally we in the black culture, I mean, there was a description, and we, you know, if you were described as an ironing board, that was pretty much like
Right.
you had no fucking ass. You know what I
Right.
mean? But dude, it's hard to find a white girl nowadays that don't have a fat ass, you know what I mean? And the majority of them, it ain't from a BBL. It's not
Right.
from a, you know, cosmetically. It's like them, they were born with it.
Right.
Like, and I remember in the day you had to look hard to find a white girl that had a fat ass. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of trying to compare that to what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
We'll see plenty of them
And
tonight.
so with that being said, back to the music side, you know, it was hard to find a white person that had the type of soul
Yes.
that a black person had. You know what I mean? I mean, they were there, but they were far and few in between. You know, your Steve Winwoods, your there were others that had just had that thing that had a little something extra in the sauce somewhere. You know, and maybe they had grew up around somebody black, black, somewhere some sort of the black culture was inserted into their lives.
Yeah.
For them to have the connection to the sound that came out of them as a Caucasian person.
Sure.
With that being said, but nowadays it's like, man, it's not even surprising anymore.
Yeah.
So and that's not only with black and white. Like this world contains many different races, cultures, and creeds and ethnicities. And I've seen Asian, Chinese, Native Americans. I mean, that have it like as if they were a black person from the fields of Mississippi, and it's surprising to me, but it's so grand to witness it though, to witness that, man, this music thing has been spread now seemingly to be very evenly over the slice of bread. That peanut butter is lathered very evenly to when you lift it up, there's many different races and creeds and colors up under there. Sure. That has, some kind of way it has far succeeded beyond it just being, okay, that's a black person that's singing that, such, or that's a white person singing that because they got no soul. That can't be said nowadays because, man, you just go to Instagram or go to TikTok or go to whatever, and you'll see some of the dopest shit coming out of all colors and creeds, and I love it to see. But I think that I will stand on record and say that I do believe that has come from a heavy insertion of the black culture. It's just is what it is.
How could it not?
It is what it is, man. And through the suffering and through the things that the black culture has been through, man, it just that was the only thing. Hymns and singing and playing was the only thing that we had to express ourselves. That was it, man. That was it, and that was it was something that came out in your Robert Johnsons and your Lightning Hopkins and your John Lee Hookers and Howlin' Wolves, and it was something that came out of them folk songs and the sound of their voices and how they played that was an expression of long suffering, man, that, they witnessed, bared themselves, saw their moms and dads and family go through, grandmothers and grandfather, man, that I hate the suffering that they went through, but I'm so grateful for the expressiveness of how they, sang about it and played about it, that helped aided in me, catching wind of some of that and latching onto, playing, and trying to channel some of that style.
Yeah.
And, that being said, man, that's very interesting of how we kind of blended, those
it's all
conversations
fun.
like that.
I'll tell you one thing that color isn't put on, and that's taste in guitars and amps and such. And one of the best things about being a guitar player is the gear, because you get a chance to have so much fun on an artistic level. It's a creative expression of its own, if you will. Your gear has changed over the years.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite rigs when you look back? Obviously I know what you have right now is the pinnacle of what you've ever used, but what are some of your favorite rigs?
To me, man, honestly, all of them have been kind of the pinnacle for me. But man, I still got my two rocks. When I first started, I was playing the Fender Dual Showmans. I was playing dual rectifier mezzo boogies. I was playing Soldanos. I was playing Riveras. I was playing Dr. Z's, believe it or not. You had your Fenders and Marshalls. I was playing those, and my two rocks definitely were fond and still very fond of those. And right now, I have to say I'm very, very pleased with the collaboration that I done with Marco over at Mark Bass / DV Mark, which is the guitar side of the company. And it's you have your purists out there that say, man, that's a solid state. So it says, no, it's not just a direct solid state. It is a solid state powered amp, but with the tone coming from a tube. So it's a tube preamp with a solid state power amp. So I think it's the perfect hybrid.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's that old kind of war between solid state and
I do.
tube amp. And as a tube player, I understand or as a guitar player rather, I understand that, you know, there is some expressiveness that comes from valves that you just can't get from solid state. But there are some advantages to solid state as well. And I think, unfortunately, the guitar market and the collector's market has swayed it in such a way that people have believed that unless it's got tubes in the output section, it just ain't that good. And that's not true.
No, it isn't. I mean, end of the day, you know, the gear does matter, but I think that the heavy burden of what is sounding like what it sounds like coming out of the speakers of whatever you're playing through is contingent on who that person is. I think the tone and all of that comes from the person that's playing the instrument.
Right.
You could take a 57 Strat and a 1959 Marshall Plexi and put this person through it and put that person through it, and it could sound completely different. It's all in the person that's playing it. The tone comes from this and here.
Agreed. Right now, of all the players that are out there, there's a bunch. I mean, who are some of your favorite players as far as their tones and what they do? We're all good players. Everybody can play the licks. But who are some people that you really just are fond of what they do sonically?
Man, it would be hard to sit here and name somebody that I wasn't, you know. But man, everybody, man, I have to say everybody, man. That's something that I take from everybody that's out there doing their thing, man.
Sure.
You know, this Mancuso dude nowadays is fucking scary, man.
What is he doing with all that?
Fuck, dude. I'm gonna go on record. I've said it before. I'll say it again. This dude, man, it has to be one of the most impressive players that I've seen in my life. You know,
Agreed.
I sent him a DM and told him, I said, man, I know you might not, my name is Eric Gales, you might not know who I am. He said, dude, are you kidding me? You are one of my influences. And it fucked me up. You know, I'm like, dude, this Mancuso dude is fucking, he's so well versed in everything that he does. It's so pinpoint accurate and so clean. And just, you know, this, oh my God. Yeah, that guy is, man, I throw my hands up when I hear him and see him doing what he's doing, you know, and the style that he plays. I mean, you know, who am I? I mean, I play left hand upside down and backwards. I mean, there's just another testament to, you know, it's not, it doesn't matter. However you get the point across is how you get the point across, you know, as people play with their feet, as people play with their elbows, their arms or whatever. And this dude just so happens to do most of his work with no pick and all of his fingers. And it sounds amazing. Like, wow, like what the fuck is going on, man? Is this how people react when they see me play? Or like, is this like, man, I now know what it feels like to, like, wow. I mean, I've been feeling that way when I watch my good friend Eric Johnson and others that play, but this Mancuso dude is wow.
It's a different thing.
It's
man.
a different, wow.
It is.
That's all I can say. I'm surprised I got that many words out, but this dude is, dude, wherever the camera, you a bad motherfucker, bro. Like really. I wait the day that I can do some stuff with you. Like,
That'd be awesome.
We DM'd and talked about it, but we got to make it happen. I mean, you got another hometown guy, Mark Lettieri. I mean, come on, man. These is several out there. You know, Derek Chucks, Kingfish. You know, Gary Clark. I mean, you know, Marcus King. I mean, these are some solidified players, man. These are some bad motherfuckers, bro.
It feels so good that the era of the guitar god is coming back.
Yeah.
You know, you remember when we were kids, we'd get the guitar for practice and musician, and on the front of those magazines, it was like all the cool guys, and they were all the guys that, you know, were leading the charge and inspiring. And it felt like for a little while maybe we didn't have that.
A little stagnation.
But
there.
now, with these other players coming back out, it's really nice to see how things have changed. And you know, I know a lot of things have changed for you. Namely, the way that you live your life is a little different than the way it used to be, right?
Yeah.
And I know sobriety has become something that you're absolutely committed to in a way of life. If I were a drug addict and I was sitting across from you right now, and my life was out of order, and I was out of hope, what would you say to me?
There's another way. and only you have to come to that realization. That's about the best that I could give it. Only you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be willing to give it a chance. You just might like it.
Yeah.
And it just might save your life.
Now, you've really had a blessing in having LaDonna with you.
Of course.
Right.
Of course.
How instrumental has she been in the
Very,
transition?
very, man. She's been my hugest supporter, man. Been there through the thick and the thin. Being with a person like me ain't for the faint of heart. It ain't for the faint of heart. I can sit here and talk about myself like that, and know what I mean when I say it.
What do you mean?
It's just when you're dealing with someone that is that has been bestowed such a gift. I mean, that in itself. Take the lifestyle out of the equation. It's just it's quite a bit. I mean, it's like trying to hold hot lava or something, or trying to hold a glass of water. It's like, man, it's slippery and hot and difficult to contain, or hard to manage and let alone keep up with. And when you finally come to a solution, if you will, that kind of gives you the ability to connect with this entity, that's a gift in itself. And she has managed to create a connection that many before her tried to do, but I had a force field that was impenetrable. And by way of my intriguement with her or whatever, that was maybe the door opener for me to let her in, and I let her in, and by way of that, it generated a trust that I allowed to take place. That
How'd she flip the switch? How did she get in?
I mean, her beauty, for one. I mean, her beauty was something, that made me say, wow, that was, but you would think that would be ultimately it. But not only was it her beauty, but it was the beauty from within that was also, the lottery pick of the day, if you will. It was just, her sensitiveness and her touch and understanding, and just everything about her was something that I knew that I hadn't come across in my, at that time, 40-something years of living. And it was something different that I just, when I saw her, I think within 48 hours I told her, I said, man, I don't know what it is, but there's something about you that I need you in my life. This was within 48 hours of meeting her, I told her that. And we met, and 2 months later we got married, and we're coming up on 13 years in about a week.
Fantastic.
So I let her in. I mean, and it was just something that I saw, and ultimately it was something that she saw, because she could have ran and went the other way, and for several different reasons, but something that she saw in me, and she stuck around, and she's still here. God forbid she's still here.
She does a lot of special things for you. I know a lot of y'all shared a lot of special times together. Tell me what it was like the moment that you got the call, the email, the text, when you were Grammy nominated.
Oh man, that was so wild. I couldn't believe it. I actually was told by Joe, because he's part of the committee that decides what genre is placed in the categories for and he said, man, let me be the first one to tell you that, man, you made it through to the first round of the Grammy nominations, and I told him, I said, babe, you're not gonna believe this, and it just was the day that tears were shed. And, I basically told the world, man, that I can't believe this, but, man, after all these years, man, I finally got my first Grammy submission for one, and then to find out that it made the next round, and finally, I finally got a Grammy nomination, man. It was like, wow, wow.
And really, it feels, I don't know what it feels like, because I certainly haven't ever had one, but I can tell you that it feels like, as a musician, if I were to ever get a Grammy, what it really means is that the world is now recognizing me.
Mm-hmm.
The world has finally said I'm good. Right.
Yeah.
And the nomination.
I mean, basically, the world is saying it at nomination status as well. Believe it or not.
They are 100%. That's the whole point, is that you would not be in that group if you weren't in that group. Yeah. So I can only imagine, man. Congratulations on that.
Yeah,
for
man.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I know you got a couple other things coming up soon. You got a tribute record coming up.
It's a tribute to my brother, Little Jimmy, man. We've been talking about him already, but he was he passed away in 2002, and I've been thinking about doing a record as an homage to my brother for quite some time, and I just thought it was time, man, and this record, I can't wait for it to come out. The first single is already out, Somebody, featuring Roosevelt Collier on lap steel, and Buddy Guy, and the world is turning heads, and the next single is coming out in about a week and a half, featuring Joe. Mm-hmm. And the record comes out on August 29th, man. And I also got Kingfish on the record. And, all of the songs are songs of my brothers, done through my eyes and lens, and except for one. And the record, I'm just very, very pleased with it, man. And it's basically putting the world on notice. If they didn't know who my brother was, they will know who my brother was and still is, and how much of a badass that he was and still is.
Yeah, man, that's great. That's really fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I know, there's a lot going on for you in the future. I know that you have a long future ahead of you. Today has been such a blessing to watch you. It's been so fun to just see Soundcheck. It's been fun to really just see everything go down with you over the last 30 years. It feels like.
Thank you.
We didn't talk a whole lot about it, but you and I go way
back,
back,
man. Yeah.
Way back.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that we able to sit here today, but hey, that may be for another talk for another time. But
100%.
But we're here, and I'm very, very thankful to be able to sit here with you and converse with you about things.
You too, man.
Yeah.
I really am glad you're here, and I wish you the best. And I want you to know, and I know you know this, but you're such an inspiration for everyone who plays six strings.
Oh, thank you, man.
The fact that you have this gift that you were talking about, and there's nothing wrong with that, man. You got it. And the fact that no one else does is just unbelievable, because there's a lot of great players, but there's only one Eric Gales. And I will tell you, you deserve your crown.
Thank you, man.
Thank
you, man. I appreciate that.
100%.
Wow. Appreciate it, bro.
Yeah,
thanks for having me, man.